If you've been to a big box bookstore sometime in the last 20 years, I am confident that you have seen the books that we're talking about today on their shelves. But just because they're everywhere doesn't mean that they can't also be on your bookshelf. And I'll talk about why that is today on Casting Across. Hi, I'm Matthew of castingacross.com, where I explore the quarry and culture of fly fishing. Now, I received one of the books we're talking about today in 2004, probably the holiday season right after that. And I remember looking at it and thinking, this is really nice. Someone knows that I'm a fly fisherman. Flipping through the book and then putting it up on the shelf. And it wasn't for probably 5 or 6 years until I heard the author, Chris Santella, on a podcast explaining why he put this book together. And that book is, of course, 50 Places to Fly Fish Before You Die. I think I've done only like 7 or 8 of them, so I have a long way to go, either in fishing or in life. But when he explained why and how he wrote the book, it really changed the way that I thought about it. At first, I thought it was just kind of an, aggregated sort of information collection, the kind of thing that you can find online very, very simply. But as I dove into it, and I probably should have done this when I first got the book, what I realized is that each and every one of the entries in this book is a recommendation from some sort of prominent angler. They're prominent either because of their skill, their media presence, their connection with a heritage fly fishing brand. They just have some sort of connection with fly fishing, and it's names that you and I all know. And each one of them makes a recommendation such that there are 50 rivers, lakes, and other water bodies that are in this book. And you get, 2 or 3 pages and a really nice picture of that river or that water body. And you get a little bit of awareness of why this is a special place. It's either special because of the amount of fish you can catch, the size of the fish you can catch, the species of fish you can catch, or the historical place that it holds in the heritage of fly fishing. So really, you're not going to necessarily get everything you need to go and fish, Bristol Bay, Alaska, or go and fish, the Umpqua River, or go and fish the Seychelles. Buy this book, but it's going to give you a launch pad so that you are not just going off some sort of nebulous general idea of, I know you can kind of fish for, brown trout in Iceland, and I know that there's a lot of fish out in Colorado. It gives you a little bit more of a concrete place to go if you are interested in going fishing there. But I would say just as important and a lot less expensive, you have all this information that kind of comes in by osmosis as you have been reading fly fishing stuff and watching fly fishing videos over the years. This gives you a nice, concise bit of information you can file away so it ceases to be just kind of this general idea and it becomes a little bit more concrete. Well, he did this book in 2004, and because there are certainly more than 50 places that you should fly fish before you die, if you have the time, effort, and resources, he did, in 2011, 50 more places to fly fish before you die. Exact same format, exact same situation, more places and more voices. And one of the things in this book that's interesting, and again, it's 14 years old, but he says that there is a little bit of an emphasis on rivers and lakes and other systems that are up and coming, both in kind of how people are fishing and in people being aware of them. So again, both of these books are relatively brief. These are books that I would suggest, and I have suggested to people who they say, I'm not a reader, but I want to know more about fly fishing, and I like the idea of doing it in a book, not necessarily just by watching videos. Well, if you wanted to, I'm not saying you have to, if you got one of these books, both of these books, you read one section a day, in 100 days, you've got 2 books knocked out for your list for the year, and you have a really great wealth of information that you have consumed. It will inevitably lead you to a little bit of wanderlust, and very well may cause you to book something. But at bare minimum, you are getting a lot of really great information on some of the most beautiful, spectacular, as well as historically prominent angling destinations across the globe. If you have these books, how many of the rivers or lakes or whatever have you fished? I'd love to know down in the comments below. Then head over to castingacross.com for 3 posts a week on the people, places, and things that go into the pursuit of fish.